All right. So I think that the live stream is going again. This is my second test live stream to see if the quality is better. I tried it last time and it wasn't that great, so I'm going to do it again. And this time, with the update that they are trying to do a refloat attempt on the Thamesborg as we speak. You can see the Silver Copenhagen. It was standby a little bit further west, but then because they were trying to pull the Thamesborg off with the Botnica and with the Beverly M, but I don't think they succeeded. So then they called in the Silver Copenhagen, and I think they're coming alongside now to probably take off some more cargo as we speak. So yeah, this is developing right now. I'm watching it anyway. I was like, let's go live and see if this time it will work better. It's my second time for the live stream, so I'm still new and I'm trying to figure out settings and stuff, so bear with me. But I think I can see you guys. If you guys put in comments, I can see that somewhere too. Let's see, I hear chat. Oh wait, I gotta move this chat over here. All right, let's see, live chat from fans. Welcome to live chat. Okay. I guess if you guys can hear me, then type a comment or something. I can see it. So, yeah, I figured they were gonna do something today or last tomorrow because of the gale coming in, and indeed they are making an attempt right now, and it's about an hour and a half before high tide. So they're getting things ready. They tried, so they probably pumped out as much water as they could already, and then they're like, they made an attempt to pour off the shoal, but I guess it's not enough. So they called in the Silver Copenhagen to come alongside for some more lightering, take some more off. Yeah, if anybody could leave a comment, that would be awesome. That way I know. Oh, wait, I see something. Ah, we'd have to scroll down or something like that. Let me see. Hold on. I see something. How does this work? Hold on. I see something. The Botnica, Estonia, hello. Ah, wait a minute. All right. Here we go. I got something. The Botnica Estonian team is doing everything they can to get this thing out of the way. Yes, they are. Esmond, can you hear me loud and clear? And how is the video quality? Is it lagging or is it okay? I'm just curious because last time I did a live stream, the video was lagging like really bad. So hello from Tallinn, Estonia. Hello from Groningen. Oh my God. Hey, Lottie. I know that name. Volume of the audio is very low. Okay, cool. Let me check if I can fix that. Maybe if I speak closer in the microphone for now, that will maybe help. But then also, let me go to the audio mixer and then to my microphone, and there are filters. I can hear and see you very well. Oh, awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, because I increased the speed of the internet, so we got better internet, and I also changed some settings in the live stream, so that's good to know that it works. Now let me amplify the gain a little bit. Maybe that won't work, but I'm gonna come a little bit closer to my microphone for now, and I'll increase the gain just a little bit more as well. Let me put the Thamesborg. Ta-da! Yeah, if I click on there, you can't see the ship, so I'm gonna keep it on here, and everybody know the Botnica is completely covering it too. The Beverly M. All right, hello from camping in Cambrils in Spain. Hans Hoek. Hey Hans, welcome to the live stream. They are trying to refloat the Thamesborg as we speak. So I was behind my computer anyway, so I thought I'll come online and watch it with you guys live. I'm glad you guys can see me and hear me. Honestly, last time the live stream, it is still up on YouTube. It looked terrible. It was lagging so bad. So I'm glad it's better this time. All right, let me refresh the page. I'm using marine traffic. I don't have the paid version. But if you know the ship names, then you can put that in the search and it will actually show them on the screen. So not all of them are in AIS reach. Some of them have they can only be seen by satellite, and I don't have that paid plan, so I can only see what is happening there. You can see they're backing up here and coming alongside, so they are going to take off some more cargo. Apparently just taking out all the water, which they probably already did, was not enough, so they're taking out more. This looks and sounds good. Awesome. Thank you, Lottie. Awesome. Oh man, that's good to know, because I'm gonna do some more live streams, and maybe I'll go on a ship and do a little tour for you guys, or I'm gonna do some live stream when cruise ships are departing from a port, or other ships that are leaving a port, and then you can ask me anything. Same now, you can ask me anything. This is your time. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will try to do my best to answer them. But you can see the, yeah, it's not showing now, but this is the Botnica right here, and this is the Beverly M. And then the Coast Guard is right over here. They also had a Zodiac in the water. I think it's this one. Yeah, the Zodiac. So they have the Zodiac here. They have the De Grosellier, the Coast Guard vessel. And the Silver Copenhagen just came back alongside the Thamesborg and the Botnica over here. Now, if we look at the tidal chart, so the local time right now, so it is in Resolute. So Resolute local time is now 12:16. That is the time that they are in. It is UTC -6 and 12:16. So we are about right here. So it is very close, about an hour away from high tide. So they definitely want to make sure that they get off there, but there's only half a meter more that it will possibly go up. So that's why they're getting some more cargo out of the ship. Hopefully, in the next hour or so or more. It's gonna be tough. But I really hope they take it off now, because you don't want to do this at nighttime when you don't have the visibility, when you're working with tugboats and you're working with cargo, takeoff cargo, you're using the ship cranes. It's not something you want to do at nighttime. So and tomorrow is Thursday, and that's when the gale is setting in, and yeah, they want to get it done today. Probably last resort, maybe at noon tomorrow, but it will already be difficult. So this is the time that they need to get it. They need to make it happen right now. Yep, they're coming alongside. But as you can see, the Thamesborg is now actually facing east. And on the 6th of September, they were heading northeast. They ran at full speed aground at 14 knots, and they have been in that direction ever since. But then about an hour and a half ago, I think I started seeing the movement of the tugboats around, and then I saw they also moved it, and now it is actually facing east. So they have tried to attempt to pull her off, but it has not happened yet. And the Silver Copenhagen will take off some more cargo. All right, so I'm going to change the setting. I increased the volume of the sound, so I hope that is better for you guys. I can see myself. How can I move this? Let me play around a little bit while we're on this live chat. It's a learning curve for me here too. Whoops, what is this? Oh, let's see. Can I make this smaller? Top chat, live chat. Wait, top chat. This looks okay. From Groningen, from Estonia, from Spain. Oh my God, from all over the world. I see some Dutch names. I see German name. Very cool. But how can I move this window? Come on. I have two screens, so I'm looking on the other screen where I have the live stream controls, I would say. And that's why I'm looking in that direction. But why is it not? It's blocking everything. I can't see it. Let me take this away. What do you guys think? Are they gonna refloat her today? I really hope so. Let me know in the chat. See if I can chat. Vancouver, Canada. Hello. Hello. Welcome on board. So cool. Vancouver. Oh man, good memories about Vancouver. We came there a lot with the cruise ships. We did Alaska cruises from Vancouver and then Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway, Seward, and Anchorage, I believe. Those were the ports. So if I was on the ship for 3 months, I would sail up and down. Well, probably, I think the cruise was 10 days. So 3 times a month, 3 loops. And then, so I would do 9 times. I would do a loop 9 times. So I've been around the Alaskan, well, I can't really call them fjords, I don't think, but yeah, it's beautiful. And Canada too. I did my commercial helicopter license in Toronto, Canada, and I have friends in Vancouver as well, helicopter pilot friends. Vancouver is beautiful. That is cool. All right, let me refresh here from marine traffic, and let's see if there's anything new. No. Yeah, it's hard. I wish I had. Okay, so this is how it works with marine traffic. You can have the free plan. You don't see much. I mean, you can see enough for the avid person. It's okay. Then there's a pro plan for 100 euros per month, I believe. But what I am missing mostly are charts, like nautical charts that I can overlap with the traffic. And to get the nautical charts, you need to have an enterprise account, and there's no pricing. So I bet the enterprise account is probably like 500 or so a month. And it's just too much. So that's why I'm using Vessel Finder. Vessel Finder has nautical charts, and I only pay like 20 euros a month for that. And it also gives you some history on ships, but only for 7 days. But a lot of times that is quite enough if you can see the past track of 7 days from a ship. If something happened, you can see if they changed speed or course, or if they went where they went, and so on. So that has been very helpful. You can only check the past history of ships on marine traffic on the enterprise plan. So yeah, I have contacted marine traffic if they want to give me access to that plan so I can promote them as well, but I haven't heard anything back. I need to find some other avenues to get to them, to the right people. Maybe if I have 100,000 subscribers, maybe they'll say, yeah, we can do something together, but until then, I'm still a small fish, so it's okay. Hello from Belgium, I see. Volke. Welcome, Volke. Belgium is close. I'm in the Netherlands, so not too far from here. Representing, yes, Swifty. All right, Swifty. how is my live stream this time? I changed a few things. I changed the internet speed has been upgraded. I changed some settings in the live stream, so I hope it's not lagging anymore as it was before. Is the sound and the lagging of the video, I mean the sound good and the lagging gone? I hope so. Maybe you can give me some insights on that. We're looking at the refloat of the Thamesborg, at least the attempt, and they have tried earlier, but right now the Silver Copenhagen 3 minutes ago, here's the latest position, came alongside the Thamesborg to do some further offloading of cargo. So Nederlander in Portugal. Willem, he is also Dutch, like me, a Nederlander in Portugal. He probably has some better weather than here. Maybe it's a little bit warmer there. Swifty says, so I've been using a live stream. Well, I did my first live stream last Friday, I believe, and the people of isleofwight.com, they have a really cool webcam overlooking the Solent in England, by the Isle of Wight, and all the cruise ships that are leaving Southampton, or Cowes, I should say Cowes. You can see them coming by, and I want to do a live stream while I talk to you guys about the ship, and you can ask me questions, and I will also maybe explain a few things, what is happening at the time when they're making turns or whatever. So I've been using their live stream last time for the first time, and he says he cannot tell me if this live stream is this video is doing well unless I use one of their live stream webcams. Is that what I understand, Swifty? I will definitely do that. I will actually, I could maybe pull that off. Danny Crooks, hello from Armagh, Northern Ireland. Hope they get it refloated. Absolutely. It's crunch time now, Danny. Like I said earlier, they tried to, the Beverly M moved back in the northern north of the Thamesborg again. The Botnica is still on this side. They have attempted this earlier, about an hour ago, but I don't think they were able to get it off. And so the Silver Copenhagen was standby a little bit further west, and then they called her in to come alongside the Thamesborg to offload some more cargo. So they have been using the heavy capacity ballast pumps to take out the water from the tanks, but that was probably not enough. So the Silver Copenhagen is gonna take some more out. And yes, it is crunch time because honestly, they have to do this like today, because of the gale coming in tomorrow, and that would be really bad. There would be 3 to 4 meter waves, so the ship would move up and down and slam onto the rock. It could also come off unintentionally when they don't want to in the gale, so that's not good. So they're gonna do everything they can right now. They're all talking about this. They're all looking at this. The whole team is there. They are trying to make it happen right now. Northern Ireland. Welcome, Danny. Video. Do Marine Salvage Company provide live feeds of refloats or video only? Yeah, well, good question. Most of it they want to do in secret so that people don't really see what's going on. But if it's in a very public area, if you remember the Costa Concordia, the cruise ship that was that ran aground, or actually not ran aground, but it hit a rock and then it went out on the ocean. They knew they had a big gash in the ship. They turned it around and they put it on the island of Giglio. and it was a very public place. People could go there. They could take drone footage and everything. It's like an public area. But this is so far away from everything that there's hardly anybody there, and the salvage team definitely does not want us to be looking live what is happening. They have been also very I would say scarce with showing photos. We only gotten a few photos. They don't want to really give us a good insight of it. So you would need to get photos from people that are sailing by, for example. So I got one photo from a subscriber. They sailed by and they sent it to me, and that was the only photo that I have seen about the Silver Copenhagen being alongside the Thamesborg, because they don't want to release that kind of photos. So no, they do not provide live feeds, but if it's in a public area, bet you there will be helicopters, there will be drones, there will be TV crews. I mean, the island of Giglio, when that happened with the Costa Concordia, I mean, the next day the whole media was from around the world was on that island. So, but that's not happening here, and this actually has not gotten very much coverage, to be honest, because it is so remote also. And but I think it's fascinating, and there's lots of other people that find it fascinating as well. So we're gonna continue doing some coverage on it. And I was watching this earlier. I was like, why not try to go live and learn a little bit more how this works with the live streams, because I'm gonna do some more. They won't get much cargo off before high water. I expect they will go again on the morning high tide. Yeah, well, the high tide, so the Resolute local time right now is 12:31, and the high tide is at 13:40. So we are about here. So we're getting close to the high tide. So I think we're still a little bit off. If I have the time zones correctly, UTC -6, that is Resolute time, and this is the tide down here. So I think that they are still a little bit off. Let's see what they say, 12:35, 12:30, and 1:30. So about an hour to go until the real high tide. But they have to be ready before it happens. And then if they tried already an hour and a half ago and they were like, meh, it's only going to go up another half a meter, it's probably not going to be enough. Let's take some more cargo off. Hello from the Alps. Well, hello, Felix. Which Alps? Which country? Is that, well, I know where the Alps are, but aren't the Alps going through a few different countries? Hey, Jesse. Nice to see you. I'm trying another live stream. This time, the refloat of the Thamesborg, because I was on my computer anyway. So I tried to do another live stream. I improved some things to make these live streams better. So hopefully you can hear me well, and I'm also not lagging as much as I was last time, because the video was terrible. Please like and subscribe. Is that what I always say? Switzerland. Oh, beautiful. We were actually in the Alps in Switzerland 2 years ago. It was super nice. Lucky guy living in Switzerland. Let's see, has anything changed here? So we have a Coast Guard vessel, Des Groseilliers, is still here, this one. And then they have a Zodiac over here as well. And a Zodiac is basically like a rubber boat is not a very nice way to say it, but it's basically a rubber boat, but it has like a reinforced hull in the bottom. And they have some powerful engines on there. Like it's like a fast speedboat, rubber boat, Zodiac. And that's what they use to keep an eye on the operations that are happening. And I'm sure they are taking videos because they want to document exactly what is happening. To be honest, I'm curious Canadian Coast Guard, last picture post from September. Yes, yes. Mm, yeah, I have those. I looked at them. So I was on a technical briefing yesterday with all the stakeholders involved. There was Wagenborg, there was the Coast Guard, there was someone from the salvage team, and they said they were going to release more photos, but I have looked, but I did not see any as of Tuesday when we had the call. So maybe I missed them. Greetings from Finland. Well, hello, Finland. Also good memories here. Juho Latinen. Thank you. Finland. Funny story. Actually, I was there with the Wagenborg ship. I was there with the Vancouverborg. And what happened is we had to test the live boat. And the live boat was a free fall boat, meaning that it shoots off the back of the ship. So we got it ready, and then there was nobody in the boat, but then we released it, and then it went in the water, and then we retrieved it with another boat, and then we took it for a little ride, and we took it to the local marina somewhere in Finland. I don't remember the port. And so we come in with this orange looking lifeboat, and it had Rotterdam on there because the ship was registered in Rotterdam, so the lifeboat is also registered in Rotterdam. And people were coming to ask us, did you come all the way from Rotterdam with this lifeboat? I said, no. I said, we came here with the big ship, and this is just the lifeboat of the ship, but that was quite funny. And then in a free fall boat, the seats are actually backwards, because if you go down into the water and you would be facing forward, then if you hit the water, you'd be your whole body wants to move forward, and then you could break your neck, you could break your back, so you don't want to do that. So what they do, they turn around those seats so that you are facing that way into the water, and if you have the impact, you have a strap around your head also, so if you hit the water, the impact goes into your body, but it is supported instead of not supported when you're moving forward. So yeah, that was yeah, it was the Finland story. I see another question there. Hold on, Willem, I'll get there in a second. Another update, nothing really new. Any other ships? I think they're all there. Actually, to tell you something about this, the Beverly M has been sheltering, and it has been sheltering under the east coast here of Prince of Wales Island, because all week they had a lot of wind, about 20 knots of wind pretty much every day. So it has been sheltering right over here. But today I already saw it moving in this direction. I was like, this could be the time that they're going to try, or else the Beverly M would have stayed here sheltered in this place. But it came closer, and then soon enough, yes, they started. Here's another destination. What is this? What ship is this? Look at that, a chemical tanker with a draft of 7.2. That is interesting. Ships are still going through this area, and you guys have seen the ice chart, so it is closing up here in the top. I'm surprised that there are still ships going this late in the season. Anyway, let me answer this question that I got. I see. Why were you at that meeting? Probably not because of your YouTube career, my YouTube career. Yeah, it's I'm not really trying to make a career of YouTube, but I just try, to be honest. So every day I do a search on anything related to Thamesborg, on Google, on wherever I can make a search for it to find information. I do it every day, maybe twice a day. So then I saw that the Canadian Coast Guard, they put out a technical briefing meeting for the media. And I was like, okay. And you could email them. I was like, well, I'm not really officially media, but I will send them an email and say, hey, I've been covering this story about the Thamesborg and I would like to join the meeting. And then I got a link, invite link, and I was on the call with everybody. I could answer 2 questions like everybody else. But I talked to the fleet director of Wagenborg twice, Theo Klimp, but you know they have to be politically correct, meaning they don't want to say too much about exactly what's going on because I specifically asked for what equipment did they bring in with the Botnica and what kind of personnel, but they kept it very vague. So, but you have to read between the lines a little bit from all the statements that they're putting out. They are correct. Like they said, for example, the Thamesborg will go to a port of refuge. And you would say, okay, but if they are passing a port of refuge where they're going next, where they're gonna go do a repair, what if they are passing Bay Como? Wouldn't they be able to stop there first to offload the cargo? When they are saying they can only go to a port of refuge, that means that they can only go to a place where they can get repair done. That is my interpretation of how they are saying it. But obviously, it would make more sense if they're passing it anyway, then drop off the cargo and then continue to do a repair. But yeah, maybe it's because of insurance or liabilities or who knows what. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. Maybe we'll get more information, but we have to puzzle it together a little bit. And that's actually quite fun too. And I like that you guys are thinking along as well, because I get a lot of feedback and emails and or photos or ideas or insights that I really appreciate. It's actually quite cool to have such a community that is helpful to find out what's happening. You know, it's quite interesting. And this story has been going on quite a while. The 6th of September, so we're now almost 32 days in. And I said this operation could probably take 45 days, costing $100,000 per day, which is $4.5 million for the entire salvage operation. So that is still another 13 days to go. And that's actually quite on track, because right now, if they will have to pretty much get her refloated in the next 2 days. And then the distance from here to, for example, St. John, Newfoundland, where there's possibly a place for a repair, it's 2,200 miles. That means if they cannot go full speed with the Thamesborg, they will go under its own power, but not at full speed. So they go probably 10 knots. With that calculation, it's going to take about 10 days to get there. And then the Botnica needs to also travel back to Tallinn, Estonia. But I think in like 14 days max, the Thamesborg will be somewhere in a dry dock, and then the Botnica will be released of its duties to escort the Thamesborg, and it will go back to Estonia to do the ice breaking season there. That was a long answer. Derek Green, he says, the salvors will want to keep very close control of the media. Yes, and they did. The Northwest Passage is a political football here, both domestically and internationally. The federal government will also want to keep... and then it cuts off here. Maybe that's... let me see how this works. Can I click on it? The federal government will also want to keep, and then it cuts off. How can I see this? It actually cuts off. I don't know, Derek. Sorry, I can't read the rest of your sentence. I don't know why it is cut off. the first time for me on a live stream. But yes, you're right. The Northwest Passage is a political football. I read that Wagenborg has taken 50 ships through the Northwest Passage since 2016. And Wagenborg has always been in colder areas. Like I said, I worked for Wagenborg, also in the Baltic, where it was minus 42, and we were going through ice that was 1 meter thick behind icebreakers. So they have always been in those areas. They've always been pioneers in icy areas. And most of their ships are all 1A ice class. So, yeah, political football, yeah. How wrong I was, Willem. Yeah. Juho Latinen, I've seen that name coming by before as well. Wagenborg ships are actually irregular visitors in my home port. How long do you think unloading will take? Just wondering when the high tide is only a few hours. Yeah, that's a good question. Hugo, which home port are you talking about where the Wagenborg ships are visiting? I'm actually curious. Let's see, how long do you think unloading will take? Yeah, what I have seen so far. Um, Sorry, Swifty says YouTube only allow 200 letters and spaces, so you need to start another post. Okay. Is that... okay. Thank you, Swifty. That's how it works. So when somebody, I guess in a live chat, you can only do comments of 200 characters, and after that, you have to hit enter and type more. I get you. So, to be honest, unloading, so they have unloaded with the Silver Copenhagen and then later onto the Nunavik 4,000 tons, and it has taken them a long time. I have seen them, the Silver Copenhagen has been alongside for days and days on end, and that is actually quite interesting because I've been thinking about why is it taking so long, but then I noticed that the cargo hold, the forward cargo hold of the Thamesborg, it has two. It has a forward cargo hold and an aft cargo hold. So two cargo holds. The damage is in the below the forward cargo hold in the ballast water tanks. And they had two cranes. And the Silver Copenhagen was alongside the Thamesborg on port side, but a little bit further aft. Because if they would go too far forward, there is the shoal, and they would run aground. Look, now she is totally alongside. That also took some time for her to get alongside. That already took like half an hour or 45 minutes because they have to get all the lines attached to the Thamesborg as well. But what was I saying? They used the cranes of the ship from the Thamesborg to move cargo to the forward cargo hold of the Silver Copenhagen, and then the Silver Copenhagen uses their cranes to move the cargo again from the forward cargo hold of the Silver Copenhagen to the aft cargo hold of the Silver Copenhagen. So it's like a shuffle of cargo, and that's why it takes quite long. But in this case, it looks like the Silver Copenhagen is actually quite far forward, I must say, but I don't know, IES is not super accurate and precise. When I hear people say that you can use AIS for navigation, that is like a huge taboo. I mean, that is crazy. I've never used it to rely on it for navigation. You would use your radar, and the AIS can assist, but it cannot be a way for doing navigation and for collision avoidance. That's what I should say. That's just that's crazy. We only looked at it for their names and destination of port and draft and other things just for curiosity, but not for collision avoidance, never. Big difference between the Baltic and Arctic Canada. Is the Baltic is always new ice, and our Arctic can be new and or multi-year ice. True. Derek Green says that. Very true. I have seen that yeah, the multi-year ice is really coming, being pushed from the north, like drifting down to the south. And I can pull up some ice charts that is actually quite interesting. It shows you on the ice charts with an arrow and with a number in there, and that indicates how fast the icebergs are moving, or the ice floats, how fast they are moving. And sometimes it's 5 nautical miles, but it is in 24 hours. So, and then you can see it's complicated. They have an egg code. Let me pull it up if it's not too messy. Let me see how I can do this. Let me see, ice charts. I still have it here, I think. This is, that's Norway. Ice charts. Canada. Latest ice conditions. That's the one. All right, let's have a look at the ice charts. It's quite interesting, and that's exactly what I've learned about this multi-year ice. You can see that. Let's do the Eastern Arctic, and then we'll go to this. This one is nice. Then you have this one here. I'll make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see. All right. So I have seen a photo coming by today of the Thamesborg, and there was ice, but it's not reported on this chart over here. It's all blue. So this is actually a percentage. So for example, if it says 1/10, then that means that's like a 10% coverage of ice. But they only put this on there if the ice is 15 centimeters or thicker. So if the ice is not thicker than 15 centimeters, it will not be on the chart. Then this would be 10 to 30%, 40 to 60%, 70 to 80%, 90 to 100% that there is ice. Then they go into this crazy, they call these egg codes because it looks like an egg. So this is like the percentage of coverage, so 70, so this is 90%. And then they go in if the ice is, they have old ice, medium old ice, and new ice. And they show how much of that is around as well. I pulled up that whole, yeah, how you say, the abbreviations, and it's complicated, but I like the coloring better. You know, it's green, it's yellow, it's orange, it's red. Makes it a little bit more simple. But here you see the arrows. Actually, I should put on my my pointer, which I have somewhere too. But multi-year ice is way more dangerous to ships. It is super hard and can open a ship up like a can opener. Yeah, I bet, Derek. It's yeah, you don't want to go to there. I also know that when I was going to the Baltic, it was not multi-year ice like you said, but ice floats, they move, and sometimes they come together because of currents or because of wind, and then sometimes they go like this, and they call that a ridge, and it's also very dense ice and pressured ice in that location. It's also very hard to go through with an icebreaker or with a ship, so they try to avoid going setting routes where there's a lot of ridges because it's hard to get through. Good old ice eggs. Derek, I have the feeling you know a lot about this, about these ice eggs. I had to look up what all these numbers mean. I did that the other day. It was quite interesting. Mark Thornton says, I have enjoyed your coverage from Regina, Saskatchewan, if I say that correctly, Canada, having worked off both coasts as an aviator, fixed and rotorcraft. Oh, Mark, my kind of guy. We are overlapping here. with aviation. Very cool. Fixed and rotorcraft. Nice. Yeah, I did the same, but I prefer rotorcraft. They're pretty cool. I rather fly rotorcraft, but I got my commercial helicopter pilot's license in Toronto at Canadian Helicopters when they still had a school over there at Buttonville Airport. I don't know if you know where that is, but that was cool. That was a good time. Let's see. What are they up to here? Thamesborg. Okay, the Silver Copenhagen is firmly alongside. And then the Beverly M is still there. The Botnica is there. The Desgaugier, Coast Guard, and the Zodiac. All right. Well, I'm gonna look up the ice charts another time, guys. It's oh, you know what? Now we're here anyway. Come on, let's do it now. Let's have a look. Ice charts. Interpreting charts. How to look at these charts. And the egg code. Here we go. The egg code. See who said that? Good old ice eggs. Derek. What do you know about these egg codes? Have you been working with those before? Canadian Ice Service color code. I think it was this one I looked at. Yeah. Okay. So here, it shows you the top part says the total concentration of the ice. So that's the percentage of the ice concentration. Then partial concentration, the stage of development, and then the form of ice here in the bottom. So that's all being shown in those eggs. Now this part is the concentration, but here you can see the development stages. This is actually here. This is a little bit easier to understand. So you have new ice, nihilus, ice rind, young ice, gray white ice, and then here you can see the thickness, and this is the code for that as well. And then they have codes for new lake ice, thin lake ice, medium thin lakes. Oh man, lots of ice. Form of ice. Here you have pancake ice. So they are like really dissecting what kind of ice it is. You know, that's really cool. Really cool. And they also have brash ice, coding for brash. Ay. So with that egg code, you can look up with all these codes, you can see what they mean with those egg codes. But I'm gonna keep it simple, and we're gonna look at the green, yellow, orange, red. But like I said, you see the arrow here, and these arrows are the direction of the speed that the ice is moving. So 3 means 3 nautical miles in 24 hours. So not 3 knots per hour. It is 3 nautical miles per day. And it's like moving this way. But you see, this is Franklin Strait over here, and it's slowly getting clogged up. But the icebreaker can probably still go through here and get the Thamesborg through. However, since the bottom of the ship is damaged, maybe it could cause more damage if they go to the ice. I was thinking about this earlier, but think about this. The ice is more on the surface level, so it is not very deep there yet. Maybe in the areas where it's red, yes, but it's not 9 meters or maybe 8 meters, which is the draft of the ship. So I don't think the ice will go underneath the ship. It will always stay alongside the ship. Now, the Thamesborg has a 1A ice class, which is the second highest grade of ice class ship. And it is reinforced in the bow and in the stern, also internal as well. But also it's called the ice belt, and the ice belt is the area where the water line is, and then an area a little bit below and a little bit above the water line, and that is extra reinforced because that is the area where the ice will come when you go through the ice. So underneath the ship, I don't think the ice ever gets underneath the ship. That's 8 meters deeper. I doubt that will happen. Normally the ice is like 1 meter thick when you can still go through it. So I don't think it's gonna go underneath the ship. So let's see. Good old ice eggs. Pressure ridges. Yes. Also dangerous. Yeah, I was a master serving in the Arctic. Very cool, Derek. We got some professionals here. That's so cool. There are so many people, tied to maritime that have found my channel in the past month. I started a month ago, and it's just I love how this is going. The Arctic is definitely now becoming more interesting to me, learning so much about it, and I would love to do the Northwest Passage at some point. I've done the Prince Christian Sund in Greenland. That was very cool. We went up to Iceland and stuff, and we went through icebergs from Greenland to Iceland, and we had an ice pilot on board. We were on a cruise, and that's also where I proposed to my wife on the bow of the cruise ship while we were crossing the Arctic Circle. So we were going from Greenland to Iceland, and then I proposed to her there. I was actually on watch, and I went to, my wife was also on board the cruise ship working, and so I went, I was going to find her, and I said, come on, let's go to the bow. And she says, well, wait a minute. She says, who's driving the ship? I said, don't worry about it, somebody else. So, and then I took her to the bow, and I had champagne ready, and they turned on the lights. The officers were watching on the bridge, and the captain, and so I went on my knees and I proposed, and then when we kissed, they honked the horn. So that was pretty cool. Buttonville Airport is being phased out if it isn't already. Yes, Don, that's right. It is already phased out. Unfortunately, when I was there already in 2007-ish, they were talking about it to phase out Buttonville Airport. But now I heard about it, that it is totally gone, which is sad. I had very good memories there at Buttonville Airport. All my helicopter flights were taking off from there. I did a couple of, now I'm forgetting. What was it called? I don't remember all those places, but I went from airport to airport to do like a 4-hour flight or something like that in one day. That was pretty cool. A helo that went down in Squamish yesterday. Oh, that's sad. Yeah, Darb says that. Squamish. I don't know where Squamish is, Darb. I don't know. Well, they're firmly alongside the Thamesborg. And yeah, let's see. Might be easier to take her to Vancouver. Less heavy ice to deal with. Not sure what the situation of Tuck and the Bering Strait are at the moment. Yeah, it is interesting that you say that, Derek, because it has crossed my mind also to go west. But I was thinking, they want to deliver the cargo, so they'll probably go east, somewhere. But the Atlantic Borg and the Nunavik have delivered what the Alcoa plant was waiting for. So the cargo is not as important to get it right now, because they already got another cargo for that as well. So yeah, going west. I looked at the ice actually for going west, but then they also have to go all the way past Alaska and then down to Vancouver. That's also a long way. It is 2,200 miles from here to St. John's, and we can have a quick look what the distance would be. I use a vessel finder. That's just for a quick rough measurement, but we're here. Thamesborg is here. Let's see, we're going to do some zigzag. Kind of go over here, over Alaska. And then probably like here. We can't cross there. And then we gotta go to Vancouver. Let me see, Prince of Wales, a little bit further down. Oh man, you're testing my Santa Barbara. Oh la la, no, wait, here we go, Vancouver, right there. Yep. All right, total 4,000 miles. So if they would go to Vancouver, it would be 4,000 miles. That is almost double the distance. So it would take 10 days for 2,200 miles, and it takes about 20 days to do this stretch at 10 knots for if they do not go full speed. And that's quite the go around. But yeah, who knows? Who knows what it's gonna look like there. Worked in the eastern bit and the western bit, but never actually made the passage on the bucket list. Yes, that would be pretty cool. That'd be really cool. But it's gonna be a long trip, right? I mean, you have to. I mean, where could you go on the ship like last? Is there another port? Maybe you could fly under by a helicopter here last minute, like right there before you go through it, and skip this whole thing and then go from here to St. John or whatever. That would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool. Let's see. What's the update here? Anything moving? Nope. It's not a good sign. But it will take some time to offload. Yeah, how much can they offload? My aviation career began at Toronto International. Well, Mark says that. Toronto International. Nice. I've only gone through there outside of tower control, uncontrolled airspace, buzzing by the water, staying low with the helicopter. I never been inside the actual Toronto airspace. An hour north of Vancouver. Oh, okay. That's where he lives. Squamish, I think it was. It was a Canadian hour north of Vancouver. Nice. Nice. I think this is working pretty well. I'm actually happy. I see some people coming on. I see the chat is working pretty good. You guys can hear me okay. The video is working. And it was terrible. I did one a couple days ago and it was horrible. And we also today, we got faster internet because we got new modems. We got 2 new modems. I said to my wife, I said, these live streams need more power. I need something better. So we got new modems today. And now we have a download speed of 800 megabytes per second and upload 200. So that's a lot. It's really fast internet. The big issue will be dry dock availability. There are only a couple of yards in eastern Canada and ditto in BC. Yeah. Derek, thank you so much for being here and sharing this information with us because you are a real insider and know more about this whole territory than I do. And then Darb says, and most are busy with government contracts. Yeah. I said in my last video, the shipyard in Halifax. And then I looked at their dry dock and it's old. It's like an old graving dock from 1800, who knows when. And it is exactly the length and the width and almost the depth that it has from the Thamesborg. So it would fit by 1 meter in length, barely. And then if the Thamesborg still has a draft of like 8 meters, it could also barely fit. It would barely fit in there. But the good thing is, there are floating docks and maybe the salvage team is taking a floating dock that is somewhere available. It's hard because they're very in demand. Floating dry docks or floating docks or floating dry docks are very in demand, so it would be hard. But um, yeah, maybe they can find one somewhere. Now, I did work on a semi-submersible, like a very big semi-submersible. Uh, that would be very strange if they would use something like that. Um, you know, they need a repair facility. They don't need like a like a semi-submersible. But it crossed my mind because I worked on one. I was like, yeah, you could get it out of the water that way too, but that would also be very expensive. Those semi-subs are very in demand and also very expensive. Our daily rate, and that was years ago, was to charter it was about $50,000 per day. So yeah, expensive. The less machine might be a possibility. Not all that far from Baie-Comeau. Yeah, I think you put a comment on my last video, and you mentioned that as well. I made a note about this. I'm going to investigate this all sometime this week and see what all these places are. And then the graving dock in Halifax was built for the Royal Navy, and the floating dock is gone in Halifax. Yeah, that was a photo I found somewhere. It would be cool if they still had that floating dock and it was available. And then the dock, yeah, is like super old. What I understand, it is, correct me if I'm wrong, Derek, but I understand that in Halifax, that shipyard is more for Navy ships, and it's not really like a repair um, yard. That's what I understood. I was going to suggest Esquimalt dry dock, but it seemed farther. Possibly Esquimalt might be a good option as opposed to punching through 500 miles of 9 out of 10 ice. Yeah, Esquimalt. I'm gonna make a note. So Les Machins. I had French in school, but it has been a long time, and I think the French Canadian is also a little bit different. I had it was an engineer, um, aircraft engineer that worked on our helicopters. He was French Canadian, and I tried to speak French with him, but it was a little bit different. I remember Les Machins and then Esquimalt. Esquimalt. Check all this out, guys. But of course, they will not tell us. Let's see. Let's do an update. They might also not know yet because it is hard to find a dry dock or a floating dock or anything like that. It's all in high demand. Lotti, Führerschein. My German is very good, Lotti. I was actually born in Germany. I'm Dutch, but when I was 3, I moved to the Netherlands with my parents. My parents moved me, so my German is very good. She says, a bit of a side question. Do you know what happened? Wagenborg, the ice service ship for Russia, that they were not allowed to deliver. I have never heard of that story. Lottie, is that, do you know what happened to the Wagenborg ice service ship for Russia? Well, I can imagine with the sanctions, they are not allowed to sell that ship even if it was already being built. The same happened with the super yachts. I'm very close to the super yacht industry as well. And when this, when the war started in Ukraine from Russia and they got sanctioned, they were no longer allowed to do business with Russia, and they could no longer sell super yachts to Russia. So I think that's probably the same thing. They were chartering out or selling a ship that was going to Russia, but then they were not allowed to deliver it. So that's probably because of sanctions. They're green. Derek says, yep, part of the national shipbuilding strategy. That's cool that they have that, you know, because, yeah, it's important. Shipping is important. You know, 80% of all our stuff gets shipped so by ships. So Derek says he just completed the Harry the Wolf class and started the new Type 26 destroyers. Wow. Wow, that is cool. Just going here. Started the new Type 26 destroyers. So you work in the Navy, I guess, Derek. That's very cool. And then somebody says, these names are English interpretations of First Nations names, not French. Oh, that's my bad. Oh my God, that's so. These are English interpretations of First Nations names, not French. All right, all right. Thanks for correcting me. I didn't know. Sounds French to me. The dry dock at Les Machins. That sounds French, right? It's currently available and likely available at Davie in Quebec City. Ah. Dry dock and Les Chemins. Dry dock available. Available. Derek Green. Derek, I'm going to mention you in my next video. And likely available in Davie in Quebec City. Quebec City. Lottie says it was still at the Delfzijl yard and meant to help Russian with Sachalin gas fields. Aha, okay, that makes sense now, Lottie. Yeah, because of sanctions, they were then no longer allowed to give it to the Russians. Edgar Nelson just came online. He says, would it be considered to discharge cargo in the sea there for getting it lighter as emergency to be retrieved later in the shallow water? Edgar, I have been thinking about this, to be honest, because in the early stages of this whole grounding of the Thamesborg, the Silver Copenhagen was alongside, and then it went west to the east coast there by the Prince of Wales Island, and it stayed there for quite a while. But first I didn't look at the weather charts at that time, but I think they were going for shelter. They went into that area right underneath the coast. But I was thinking like it was already for days alongside Thamesborg. They were loading and then they would just drop it there somewhere on the shore side and leave it there for the winter and pick it up another time. That has crossed my mind when I saw that, but I didn't look at the weather. And then later I looked at the weather and then there was a lot of wind. So I was like, wait a minute, they are sheltering. But that would not be a bad idea. It has crossed my mind too, the Silver Copenhagen, that they, instead of getting the Nuna Lake and get more cargo out of it without involving any other ships, to just leave it there for the winter and pick it up next year. You know, that's not a crazy idea. If it's legal, I don't know. I mean, it's probably the locals there would probably not like that so much if that would be happening. You would probably need to how you say permission to do that. So now I was asked today by CBC News in Canada to do an interview, and I need to quickly have a look if they have emailed again. There was a show, and I'll let you guys know. There's a couple of Canadians here. You guys might know what show it is that they want me on, and we're gonna do that today. So if that happens, I'll have to jump off and see ahoy at markhennis.com. Let me check real quick and I'll continue answering questions that I see coming in the chat. Wait. Login. All right. I have still not heard back from them. They asked me to do an interview, but I have not heard back. Now, the show is called, let me pull it up, CBC News. The host is Neil Coxall, which is a lady. And it's like a show that is between 11:30 and 4:40 on CBC. It does not say the name of the show. Interesting. Maybe we could do it tomorrow. Hopefully they will be, we'll have some breaking news that the Thamesborg is afloat. I really hope so. All right, guys. Man, now I gotta keep up here with the chat. You guys are all coming on now. For those that are just joining, we're watching the refloat of the Thamesborg. At least they're trying to make an attempt. They have tried to pull it off earlier, and it didn't really work. So the Silver Copenhagen is alongside to take some more cargo off the ship to lighten it. All right, let me see. I'm going to catch up here with the chat. Derek says, I took the Queen's Shilling for a while and then went into the Merchant Marine. Davy is a good yard. Cool. The Queen's Shilling. Nice. Arctica Borg was not sold onto because of sanctions. Yes. So Lottie, indeed, it was because of sanctions. The Arctica Borg was not sold to the Russians. Aaron, Brakel, just tuned in. Have they made it off the ground? Aaron, they are not off the shoals yet. They are still in position. They have tried to pull earlier, but I don't think they got any. Well, they moved it a little bit. You can see the Thamesborg is now facing east, and it was always facing north because it when it was going on the intended route full speed at 40 knots, and when they ran aground, it was facing northeast. But they have tried to pull her earlier, and now it's facing east. Now both ships are facing east, and they've always been pointing north. So it has shifted in heading, but it's still aground. JT Williams says, hey Mark. What's up, JT? Derek Green. Legally, you can discharge cargo to the sea if it is necessary to save the ship. Yeah. That's that makes sense. You know, in an emergency, everything is allowed. Somebody else also mentioned it. You know, why don't they just dump it overboard? It's like, yeah. Captain's decision. Do we dump it or not? I calculated it was probably about $14 million. I don't know. The ship is probably worth about 15. Joe Homer says, reading you well at 14:17 hours Eastern Daylight Time, East Coast, USA. Hey, Joe, welcome here. It's cool. I like this. Seems like people are on the chat, and you guys are... it's working pretty well. I like this. I'm glad the live stream is working because I'm going to do more, and not just this. Just was an impromptu one. It's a test live stream, but I was watching it anyway. I was like, I'll go live. Let's see what happens, and it's working really well. I'm glad I did this. It's really cool. Has the salvage ship arrived? Asked Jimmy Edwards. Jimmy, the Botnica, I would call that the heavy hitter salvage ship. They had also equipment on board. Like heavy capacity water pumps and stuff, and divers, and probably repair pre-cut steel plates to maybe repair and weld once they are refloated. So that's the heavy hitter. So I'll show you the Botnica. It is on the scene. They were pulling earlier. I'll refresh this. All right, So here, as you can see here, a quick update. So the Botnica is over here. Then you have the Thamesborg, and right next to it the Silver Copenhagen. Then you have the Coast Guard vessel De Groseilliers here. Then you have the Zodiac still here. And the Beverly M is standby again here on the west side. So you see some extra dots. It's because it's overlapping the AIS from the stations, but it's also overlapping some satellite positions from that same aircraft. I want to say from the same ship. So yeah. How did the Thamesborg run aground anyway? Yeah, it's a good question. So on the 6th of September, they changed course from Icebreaker Channel, and I can show you on the map. I can take this off. So they were coming. So they came all the way from China over here. You know, let me get my pointer on because the highlighter. That's actually better. Highlighter is on. Okay. Get back here. Whoop. Sorry about that. Pointer, the highlighter. Okay, so they're coming from China over here. I think further over here. And then they went through the Alaskan waters here, through the Northwest Passage. And then they came inside here. And then here they went... these maps are so bad. I wish I had better maps. So there's CMap, which is actually quite cool. They do a pretty good job. Let's see if I zoom in, I can get some better details. Yes, all right. Meh, it's shoddy. Anyway, they came through Icebreaker Channel, and then they were making their way north here, and this is where they went aground. Now, when you zoom in further here, this is all land, and you see how it goes this way, right? So you can expect that there's more going in that direction underneath the water, and there is a 20 here, there's a 127, so that's the depth here. But their course went straight over here. They did not change any course. There were no other ships. I saw their track, and it was one straight shot from their last waypoint all the way from Icebreaker Channel all the way to here was one straight line. So when they changed course from Icebreaker Channel to their next waypoint, they went right over this shoal. And yeah, I don't know what to say. It's crazy to me. I would have gone a little bit further here. Look, it's 200 meters and 107 and 220. You know, all the ships are going here because it's deep. You know, you don't want to be messing around over here. But yeah, it's let's see. Don McConnery, likely CBC News Channel. Yes, Don, that was the CBC News Channel. Neil Coxall, she is like a anchor, a host of the show. Maybe tomorrow I'll do the interview because it's getting late here. It's 8:30 here in the Netherlands. Joe Homer says, Foundation Maritime, where are you? Now we read you. Yeah, so I'm in the Netherlands. Yeah, the Netherlands is small, so yep, the master has a lot of authority in emergencies. Better have reasoning in line though. Masters get a couple of minutes to make up their minds what they need to do. Yep, I have been close to decisions of captains to make really big decisions about what to do. I never made it to be a master or a chief officer because my highest rank was second officer, because I didn't want to be chief officer or master for the reason that I wanted to put all the routes in the chart, and I want to be on watch 8 hours a day. That's what I really enjoyed. And as a chief officer and as a master, you don't really do that very much anymore, especially on a cruise ship. You're more like the mayor of the town. when you're a captain. You still do arrivals and departures, of course. A funny fact on cruise ships, the master is technically not part of the deck department. So we did a deck department photo with all the officers and with all the sailors and the quartermasters and everybody, but not the master. And I was like, why is he not on the photo? And they said, well, the master is technically not part of the deck department. He is overseeing the entire, there's the hotel department and whatsoever. I thought it was strange. I mean, so we had the whole picture without the captain. And it was like very strange. But yeah, crazy. Let's see. Derek says, the Admiralty prosecuting lawyers get years to 10 years those decisions apart. Yeah, to then tear those decisions apart. Yeah, that's true. They will come after you. Whatever you decided, whatever you do, it probably wasn't the right decision. Afterwards, it's always easy to talk, So Swifty says, I think tonight Mark has been very successful. Just need a moving video as you did last time to really test it. Am I not moving? Or does he mean, no, you guys can see my screen, right? And you can see me in the webcam as well, right? That should be working. What is the present wind speed and direction? All right, Joe, we can have a look at that. Okay, let me ask you guys, can you see my live webcam and can you guys see me moving? And can you see my screen? I'm sure you can, or else I would been doing this all for nothing. Let me see. Windy, my favorite. We use this on a ship too because it's awesome, and I made it to my liking. I made the coloring a little bit more dramatic, as you can see over here when you look at the wind. So this is the wind, or this is the waves. Let me check the wind. Now I checked the waves in Franklin Strait a couple of times, but I think there are not a lot of buoys that are recording the wave height there, because it's always 0 or 1 meter when there's a lot of wind. So I think there's not a lot of buoys that are recording that over there. Now the wind right now, it's a little bit hard to see, but I've gotten used to reading these maps now where all these territories are. But this is right here. This is, am I right? Hold on, before I say something wrong, this should be it. Resolute. Yes, here we are. It's a little bit hard, sorry. It's a little bit hard to see, but right here, this is the channel, the Franklin Strait, that goes up to Lancaster Sound and Berry channel, right here. The Thamesborg is right over here. And if you click on it, it says there's 11 knots of wind right now. Right there. But if you look a little bit further, like tomorrow, so here tomorrow, then it's 20 knots of wind. It's actually less than they forecast now, so it's actually less than yesterday. It was 32 knots forecast for tomorrow, but now it's actually a little bit less than that. 20. Oh, that's actually good. That could be really good. You see, this is the location. It's 22 knots, so it has been reduced. Yes, we can see both your screen. All right, good. I just wanted to make sure, or else I'm doing all this for nothing. What is a navigation officer? No, wait, sorry. There is a navigating officer who knows his job is gone once the ship reaches the next port. I guess. Yeah, I guess. I would think these carbon blocks going overboard would be frowned upon. Yeah, but in an emergency, like Derek was saying, it would be allowed. But You can also pick them up later. I really thought they put them on the beach, like somebody else said that the Silver Copenhagen went to the shore side and then just offload a whole bunch of cargo over there instead of putting it on another ship and so on. But and just leave it there for the winter, come back next year. But yeah. With the Coast Guard on site, I expect the master on the icebreaker has taken over as on-scene commander and the rules will have changed. Yep. I've read, Derek, that isn't the on-scene commander the salvage master? Is that not the on-scene commander? You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been reading up on some salvage operations because it would be maybe quite a cool job to be a salvage master. That would be pretty cool. But I read somewhere that they take over as on-scene commander. Yeah, the icebreaker is definitely the heavy hitter here. Staff captains are busy people on cruise ships. Yep. So on cruise ships, yeah, the terminology it gets thrown around a little bit. They used to be called chief officers, at least with Holland America Line, and then they changed it to staff captains, which is still the same 4-stripe. But then the captain has 4 stripes, but then with 1 fat stripe, then you're the captain, the master of the ship. Yeah, also the staff captain / chief officer, they do a lot of paperwork in regards to the with the office and stuff like that as well. And I just remember always seeing him in his office behind the bridge, and I was like, poor guy. I'm on the bridge. Yeah, I'm looking outside. You can look at your screen, but yeah, I didn't want that job. I was like, no. But on cruise ship was super fun. I loved it. It was really fun. Yes, can see you. Nice. They can see. Nice. Yes, we can see both you and your screen. Awesome, guys. I have a cat here. I need to let her out for a second. Hold on. Hey, Bella. Yeah, come on. Go check it out. All right, we can see you. What is the tide? All right, the tides. I got the tides here. First, I want to see the local time. Now we can see 13:36, and then the tides. I have them here. Nope, here. 13:36. So right now is high tide, guys. Good catch. 13:36. High tide is happening right now. From here on out, the tide is going down. My favorite wind program, Windy. Yeah, was my best friend in Hudson Strait and Hudson's Bay and up the east coast of Baffin Island. I love Windy, it's, I don't know, I'm sure you know, Derek, but the cool thing is also, I have in here, you can see, where is it? Let me find it for you because it's really cool. You can see currents. Did you know that? You can see currents? I mean, that is really neat because you know how hard it is to look in a tidal chart when there's no graphics or, it's just numbers, directions, and speed. Then it's like, okay, well, you can't really picture it in your head, but here you can actually see it. So you can see that there is still current. You can see where the current is flowing, and you can also play it here. I love this feature. Especially, I sail sometimes on the North Sea with a sailboat, and then you have to also time it when you leave a port to go to the next port that you go with the current. And then it's very nice to see when the tides are turning, and then you can just look at the time and you can see where it's going, and it is super helpful. I love this feature of Windy. The other thing I've been looking at because of here, it's the icing chart. And yes, there's already ice around the Thamesborg, but it's very thin. It's less than 15 centimeters. So I've been looking at that as well. And then what else did I look at? Yeah, that was pretty much it. But those currents are pretty cool. gives you a really cool idea. You see how I made it all dramatic with these coloring? You can change the coloring as well in settings, because yeah, that way you get a real bold look of what is happening, and yeah, it makes it look a little bit more extreme. Mark Thornton, let's see. Video is good, but audio is very weak. Yeah, still? Damn it. I need to check the audio if I can do something about that. I'll have another look tomorrow. Did we miss high tide? No, high tide is right now. Lauren says, so you pick and choose your comments. No, I'm reading all the comments, but I guess I missed yours. And he says he's no longer a subscriber. Ah, sorry, Lawrence. I didn't see you. I tried to pick them all, but video is good. Lawrence is a sad sack. Yeah, Lawrence. I must have maybe missed it, but I'm trying to read all of them. The salvage master will probably liaise with R or will be subordinate to the master of the icebreaker. Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Halifax is mostly Navy. Irving and St. John, NB, can build and repair anything. Okay. Yeah. You know, I think Halifax would be a good option, but I hear there's not a lot of docks and stuff, but dry docks and floating docks. So, did you locate a closer tide reference? You mean for the next tide that would be available? So this is right now high tide. Then the next high tide will be at 1:29 a.m. on Thursday morning, so tomorrow morning. But you don't want to do this in the dark. You don't want to do a salvage operation in the middle of the night. And the weather is actually looking better, like we just saw. The wind is going to be less tomorrow than as expected, so that's good. So maybe they'll try again tomorrow afternoon if it doesn't work today, because the weather is actually improving. The wind is getting less. So we just saw that here on windy. Still 25 knots. It's still quite a lot of wind. Let me see. He says Lawrence doesn't understand the top messages and all message option. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Ballard Strait is Port Kennedy on the wrong side of a landmass from Franklin Strait. Geez. I don't know. I only know that Franklin Strait is over here, and then Ballard Strait is over here. Now, I think that they will go through Ballard Strait and then make their way up here. That is my... I strongly believe that that is going to be their... That's going to be their plan. So from here, where they are, through Ballard Strait and then up to here. Because if you look at the ice charts, oh, I still have it over here. They are here, through Ballard Strait, over here, and then make their way out. That's the best option. I've seen pictures from Ballard Strait. It is narrow, but it's also still quite wide. So they'll be able to do that. I think the yard is gone in St. John. There are a million overlays in Windy, all useful. I agree, man. It's so cool. I think it's like I only pay like 20 euros per year for that Windy for the premium, but it's stellar. I use it for so many things. Thanks for your online YouTube channel. Hopes it helps viewers. Yeah, thanks, Douglas. I hope so too. Let's refresh here what's going on. I think the Silver Copenhagen is going to be alongside for quite a while. I have a feeling. I think I'm about to stop this live stream. It's almost 9 o'clock here in the evening. And yeah, it looks like the Silver Copenhagen is gonna do some more offloading. Maybe they'll just offload enough, regardless of what tide it is, to just get off enough and get her off, you know, possibly. Audio and video is great. Nice. You must use an audio enhancer. I use too. Okay, I write it down. Audio enhancer. Audio enhancer. Is that hardware or software, Puck the Bear? The audio enhancer. Is it software? I hope it's software, and it'll be easy to install. I think this is getting dangerous considering weather at this time of the year and unknown problems to refloat. Yeah, I'm actually, you know, surprised that I think the entire crew, well, we know the entire crew was still on board, but do you think during the refloat they're also all still on board? I mean, if they're going to use the engines full astern, they need crew and they need somebody on the bridge and in the engine room and so on. And if they need to tie up the Silver Copenhagen, they need personnel to, you know, tie up as well, forward and aft. So I'm sure the entire crew is still on, but to me, it's still crazy, you know, if you try to refloat it with the stability of the ship and with the damage. But I think the damage is probably not that bad. I mean, it's still bad, but it's manageable. That they are like, the ship is still in relatively good condition. That it is safe to do so. That's what I'm thinking. Need to run. Douglas says goodbye. Thanks for being here, Douglas. I appreciate it. Question. In a narrow north-south channel, open at both ends, what is the impact of tides moving in and out of terms of current? Is it mostly neutral, or would it flow in one direction more than the other? Good question, Jean-Francois. So if you look at the tides, now it is a little bit different here up in the northern territories, but because there is not a lot of currents. There are currents, but it is not very strong and not specifically in a direction. So let me show you. It's easier. Hold on. Let me get the currents. All right. So here we have the currents. Less crazy looking. So you can play this down here. You can go through all the days. But right now we are here. And you can see how the currents are flowing. Actually, on a world map is actually pretty cool. So you can see that here there's a lot of current and here's a lot of current. That is Fox Bay, I believe. Fox Basin. Is that Fox Basin? I think it is. Let me see. Where are we? Sometimes I get confused in these northern territories because it all looks the same. But you can see clearly. You can see it here. There's a lot of current, and up here, less. You know, there's some current. Here it's strong because it's coming down and it's flowing here and it wants to go around the corner and then it flows down here. And this is, I think this is also where the icebergs are coming down when they are drifting down from this area. They come along here in this strong current over here. So up here is the Thamesborg, and there is not a lot of current because it's all like, yeah, intertwined, but obviously it moves because of the moon. It attracts and it moves water around. So also in this area there is still current, but it's see here is this area I've seen there's always a lot of current, which is actually good because it slows down the formation of ice. So when there's a lot of current, it slows down the formation of ice. Was there anything from Botnica about the hull? Fuck, what do you mean about was there anything from the Botnica about the hull? This is for users. It's a browser add-on. You could install one too, and it is software. Ah, thanks, Puck. This is for users. Ah, okay. Okay, so as a user, when you're listening to live streams, you can add in your browser an audio enhancer so that the sound is better. Yeah, I have this really nice microphone and I messed with the settings today to make it even better, but I guess, shall I try something, guys? Hold on, let me try something here. Let me do filters and there's gain. Now, what if I crank up the gain? Is it now getting louder? Is it getting way too loud? I'm still talking the same, but maybe now you guys can hear me better, but maybe it also sound deformed. I've cranked it up from 6 to 14 decibels, so maybe you guys can hear me better. Maybe it's way too loud now, it's also possible, but I cranked it up on my side. Tides and currents depend a lot on topography. Narrow channels usually mean faster currents, yes. And the bottom contours of the bottom will also have a marked effect on the rate of flow. Interesting. Raising the gain worked. Awesome. Thanks, Jean-Francois. Is it not, it got louder, but you sounded fine before also. Okay. Well, I'm gonna leave it at this for now. I did filters. I did gain. I made it to 12. That's gonna be, I'm gonna leave it at 12. That's probably a nice intermediate. Sound is better, not deformed. Perfect. Because, you know, sometimes when you increase the gain, then it also becomes very harsh, you know, like not nice to listen to. It's, but I'm gonna leave it at 12 for now, and then we're gonna keep it that way. Thanks for helping out, guys. I really appreciate it. This is my second live stream, and it's already a big improvement from the last one. This is an impromptu live stream because I saw some action on the Thamesborg. They were trying to refloat, and they were trying to refloat her, but they were not able to, so now they're taking out more cargo. That is the update. I haven't had a problem with sound at all, but yes, that has increased the sound more. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna do that also when I do when I record my videos. I will also increase it there as well to 12. What was it? 12 decibels plus 12. All right, let's see. Puck says damage to the hull and possibly repairs by the divers from the Botnica. Aha, okay, yes. As I understand from your video about the Botnica, they picked up some in Greenland. Yes, correct, Puck. So, Derek, I would love your thoughts on this if you're still here. I would love to hear your thoughts about, you know, once they pull the Thamesborg off the shoal, I believe they will have to do some kind of an emergency repair to get to the port of refuge. And I'm thinking they're going to have divers underwater doing inspection. And after that, they will probably have pre-cut steel plates that they are going to do some underwater welding and put that, you know, to give it some more strength and to close up the ballast tanks, maybe pump out more water. That is what I would think would happen. Derek, if you're still here, maybe let me know if I'm right or wrong, or what are your thoughts? I'm curious. Let's see, Puck. Let's see what Derek says. Derek, green, but Bay of Fundy is one-ended, so obviously water flows in during rising tide and flows out during the tide going out. So I was curious about a channel connected to ocean at both ends. Yeah. Well, let me show you, Jean-Francois. It's actually pretty cool. When you go to windy, I'm familiar with the North Sea, so I'm going to move you over to the North Sea, which is over here. So you have the Netherlands, I'm right over here. And then you have the UK over here, and Spain. So the lay of the land, a little bit, Europe, Western Europe. Here you can see the English Channel, and you can see it's actually coming from this direction, but it's also coming from this direction. But it also, you see how it all these currents go differently. And if you hit play, let me hit play here, and you can see what happens with the currents, like visually. It's actually stopping. Why is it stopping? Okay, let me go to there manually, and you can see it. It's quite cool. Isn't that cool? You You can see the actual currents like moving in and moving out around an island, like island. The UK is a kind of an island, huge island. So that's how currents move around. But it basically repeats itself. You know, it's pretty much the same every 24 hours in cycles, but gives you an idea about how it moves around. Now, what is really cool, when you zoom out very far and you see the world, then you see a lot of current over here, and you also see this current over here that goes from Panama pretty much here, and then all the way over here, like in a straight line over the equator, going all the way there. You can totally see that, and you see all the currents going over here. I find this fascinating. And if you here you also have currents, you know, here a lot of current on the northeast side here of South America, and then also here by the entrance of the Red Sea, and then here also by Japan. Is that Japan? I think it is. Let me see. It's hard to see. Yeah, Japan. It's right here. See all these giant currents. It's really cool to see. Really cool. Anyway, we are still with the Thamesborg. Derek says it will all depend on the locality of the damage. Yeah, exactly. It takes a long time to achieve unlimited tonnage all seas. You don't want to put that at risk, becoming known only for your worst day after litigation. Yeah, that's right. Very true, Mark. Hey. If the damage is localized to one deep tank or a double bottom tank, then they may not need to apply a temporary patch. Underwater welding is extremely difficult. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Well, there are multiple tanks, and there are double bottom water ballast tanks that are damaged. So it's not one deep tank, it is multiple, and they are the double bottom water ballast tanks. Actually, so I looked up today these heavy capacity water pumps. Do you guys know the power of these pumps? Like how much they can pump out per minute? Like it's shocking. So even when there's a pretty substantial hole in one of those tanks, they can probably suck it out with those pumps faster than it comes in. I'll give you a number here in a second. They can drag a tarp over a hole. Yeah. Is that more like I've seen the collision mats, which are reinforced rubber mats. That's probably what you're talking about. Derek says, I was master on DP DSVs. Oh, very cool. So I can speak to this quite well. Burning is easy. Very cool. Very cool. Man, I got some professionals over here. I like it. I like it. If this were the Titanic with only one compartment that is flooded, could they tug it to port with one flooded area without requiring emergency repairs? Yes. Yes. I think the Titanic could have 3 compartments flooded and it would still be fine, but I think the fourth was fatal. That's what was happened with the Titanic. Do we know anything about rock formation, shape and composition, or in other words, a cut or deep dent? Yes. Yes and no, I mean, as far as we can see. But I did do some, where did I find that? I did a satellite image from the area. I'm trying to remember where I found it. I can show you. But it is actually quite flat, these rocks, from the top. But the underwater pinnacle, you can see it goes from 50 to 30 to 20. So that was a real underwater pinnacle. But where did I see that photo? Because I took some satellite images from Copernicus, which is a satellite image provider. It's really cool. But I'm trying, let me think about that. If I know where I have that photo, I can show you the rock formation from the top side. And then Jean-Francois says, can they tug the freed ship ASAP to an area where ice is no longer a problem and then do emergency repairs? Or are emergency repairs more important than escaping the ice? Can they tug the freed ship to an area? Okay, so they are going to let the Thamesborg go under its own power, because then it can also go faster. That is one of the reasons probably also why they wanted to go under its own power, because it can probably do 10 knots, not the full 14, but probably going to do 10, which is faster than towing. Towing a ship would be about 6 knots. That's almost half of that speed, so it would take them a lot longer to get out of that area. So it's probably better to go under their own power if they can, because it will be faster. So that's one. Are emergency repairs more important than escaping the ice? Well, it all depends on the how big the damage is. If the damage is limited, that they think it's safe, then they will probably want to get out of there as soon as possible and do the emergency repair somewhere else. But it's a bit of guessing for us. But you know, first they were talking about a total risk of the ship, that it's going to be a high risk that there's a total loss. That's what I was going to say. And okay, then I was like, then it is very serious. Then they are not one crew on board, and they want to take out the fuels and the oils, and they're going to tow it, and then that's it. But now they are saying it's going to go under its own power, meaning there's a full crew on board and it's not as bad. So maybe they don't need to do a repair. You know, and like Derek said, it's it could be underwater welding is extremely difficult. So yeah, and especially when there's a lot of wind and weather, and it's freezing cold. But they're used to that. The divers, they're used to cold water. But yeah, as long as the damage hasn't penetrated a hold, I would use damaged mattresses and the canvas cover. Exactly. Yeah, I've read about these as well. These collision mats or something they call them, like reinforced rubber mats. It will really limit speed through the water. Yeah. So that too. So you might want to put that on, but then you have to, maybe you cannot go as fast. But if you don't do any repair, maybe you can actually go faster. I once commissioned a pump with a capacity of 6 tons per second. There are much bigger ones though. Yes, Felix, thanks for coming back to that. I almost forgot. 6 tons per second, okay, per minute. That is 60 times 6. What? 60 times 6, that's 360 tons per minute. 360, is that right? 360 tons. Wow, that's a lot. That is crazy. That is some capacity. I read between 40 tons per minute and 150 tons per minute. And 40 tons, to give you an idea, that's a fuel truck. So that is filling a fuel truck in 1 minute. That is 40 tons per minute in capacity of a water pump. But 6 tons per second, 6 times 60, that's 360 tons per minute. Wow, that's crazy, man. What? Man, then the hole doesn't really matter. You can suck it all out. keep drinking from the tank. Wow. Another option would be to burn off protruding steel and then fit a patch that is secured from inside the tank. Wedges, etc. can be used. Yeah, I've been thinking about that too. You know, Derek, one other thing that I was thinking about that, but that was just a thought. Later I thought it's stupid, but first it crossed my mind. So you know how they have these giant airbags, and I know that the water ballast tanks are. It's not just one open area. There's all these how you call it in English, yeah, dividers in the tank. So it would be hard to put that in, but that way. But then also those airbags could also get punctured where the tank is damaged. There will be sharp edges, and it could puncture those airbags as well. But I know they have very strong airbags. But I think in a water ballast tank, it's not big enough with all the dividers to prevent the water from moving around. That reduces your stability. Slack tanks, they have these dividers, so I don't think you can put those in. I don't think that will work. Oh yeah, that's right. The divers, Derek says, will have their hot water suits on bust in those hot waters or in those waters, full temperature. That's right. I heard about this, and it can also go wrong if there's. I've seen a show where they were diving for gold, and those divers they had these suits on, but then they also had hot water coming in, and if it was going wrong, then they would get burned because the water would yeah, it would burn their skin. So yeah, actually, when I go windsurfing or kite surfing or whatever, when I wear a wetsuit in the winter when it's cold, I sometimes go underneath the shower and I open it and then just make the water go in and get some warmth from that as well. So yeah, warm water is definitely a plus. How long before today's effort are reflected on the Coast Guard webpage tonight or the end of the week? Yeah, so we had this technical meeting with them on Tuesday, and they still haven't updated the website, the live incident page on the Coast Guard page. So I don't know how often they do it. Maybe at the end of the week. Floors, baffles, baffles. Is that what you call it? The baffles in English? The dividers in the tank. I think that's what you mean. It was for cooling a power plant. Felix says, "Oh, really? Ah, that makes sense. A power plant. They need big pumps for cooling. Wow, 6 tons per second. Man, that blows my mind. 6 tons per second. But you know, those are not portable. I mean, I can only imagine. Uh, you could not bring those to a ship and install them. That's a whole nother level. 6 ton per second. Damn, that's a lot. Yeah. Okay, so airbags could work. It could reduce the permeability of the damaged tank. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it would depend on what the divers have in their bag of tricks. Yeah. Habs beating pants off leaves tonight, boys. Habs beating pants off leaves tonight. Oh, we got some hockey guys over here. I know about the Leafs, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I like that there's so many Canadians here, to be honest. Uh, that's really cool. But I'm gonna cut it here in a second, guys. It's been really fun and it's a little bit addicting. I really like this. I'm gonna do this again. We're gonna do live stream, but let's do a last update here, and then I'm gonna sign off. It's getting late. My voice, man, I've been talking for I don't know how long, 2 hours now. I'm gonna drink some water. Or they suck up a jellyfish, kite surf, cabaret. Oh my god, you guys are funny. The Botnica is a ship for operation in ice conditions, and they would get the right divers and equipment for these operations. Yep. Buck, what is your involvement in maritime? You seem to know a lot about this as well. Buck the bear. Buck Trump. What? F the USA in the chat. What is this? I work on the Fenica. Oh! It will depend on who is on board as the diving team. It used to be the S&D. Oh! Derek, you worked on the Fenica? That's a sister ship of the Botnica. So it'll depend on who is on board as a diving team. Huh! I used to be DSND. I don't know what that is, Derek. DSND. I'm learning so much tonight. DSND. Diver support something director. Diver support something director. That's my guess. Check windy currents for the Bay of Fundy. Check the windy currents for the Bay of Fundy between Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. Let's do that. Let's do that. Currents, Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. All right, we're gonna move around the world. Nova Scotia. All right, Nova Scotia is over here. New Brunswick is over here. Okay. Damn, look at that. It's, let me see. We sailed here with a cruise ship quite a lot. We did a Boston to Montreal cruise, and we stopped in Halifax and Sydney, and we came in this area. We actually had to slow down for whales going to Boston. I remember that too. That's pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of power there, a lot of wind. But check out this. Now this is actually pretty cool too. If you check this right over here, this current, the Gulf Stream, right here, going from the Caribbean via South Florida, all the way up here. We were going here with a cruise ship, and we would go more than 25 knots per hour. So on one watch, you could do 100 miles logging in your logbook, and that was a lot. We got a lot of current here from behind when we went to Fort Lauderdale, so that was always cool to do log 100 miles in your logbook. All right, so I had an uncle on a submarine and a brother-in-law as an engineer on Maersk. Very cool. A submarine, that's just scary. And she likes sailing. Have you found me on Instagram maybe, Puck? Because, I don't know, your name sounds familiar, maybe. A lot of you guys have found me on Instagram before. And then they were bought out by Stolt Offshore, Dutch company, and merged with Subsea 7. Yep. I expect she is carrying Subsea 7 divers. I probably know a few of them. Haha, very cool. Gulfstream, how to gain or lose 2 knots depending upon direction. Yeah, totally. I mean, I think we had an extra speed of like 4 or 5 knots. Maybe even more, maybe 6 even, because normally we would do like 23 knots max. No, what am I saying here? Sorry, I'm totally off here. We would do about 21 knots normally, but with the current, we would do 25 or 26, and that would be 100 hours, 100 miles in one watch. Yeah, don't get things mixed up here, Mark. Very cool. Hey guys, one more check on the status here of the Thamesborg. It has been super nice chatting with you, but I'm going to sign off. Let's do one more look here. Yeah, nothing has changed. It's all the same. Still alongside Botnica over here, Zodiac. Oh, this is a position from 22 hours ago, so that's not very current. But the Coast Guard's still here. Yeah. So we're gonna have to look tomorrow morning. I really hope when I wake up that I see some speed, or at least that the Thamesborg is out of this location. All right, guys. Thank you so much for all being on here and helping me out with this live stream. This was the second test live stream, which was better. I will keep you guys updated. It was great chatting with you, getting to know you a little bit better, and I will definitely keep doing these because it's actually quite fun. I've never had this kind of interaction on a live stream. I've never done this before, so and I have some real pros here that is so fun, so fun. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate it. Christopher, Buck, all you guys, thank you so much. Smash the like. Yeah, I don't know. Can you do that on a live stream? Can you hit the like button and can you subscribe? I've been on one before, but we'll definitely do that again. Maybe I'll tell some more ship stories. I mean, I'm sure Derek and all of you guys that have been at sea for a long time, you all have crazy stories. You know, there's so much happening on ships. At a career at sea is crazy. Thanks for the updates. Thanks for the fun. Thank you guys. I'm gonna sign out and I'll talk to you guys soon. Already done? Yep. Thanks for the updates. Hey, Paul. Yeah, we're gonna do more. We're gonna do more live streams. Yeah. Greetings from the Botnica crew. No way. Really? Pentant. Hey, I wish you guys all the best on the Botnica. Honestly, this is a huge task. Get it done. I know you are professionals. I'm sure you can get it done. Thank you so much for tuning in. That is so cool. He's actually on the Botnica. Oh my God, I gotta write down his name. So cool. Thanks from Toronto, Ron. Best 40 plus years I have spent at sea. Absolutely. I wish I did a little bit longer. I'm trying to get back into it a little bit, but not as an officer, maybe in a different capacity. I want to say I would like to be at sea a little bit more often, being on ships and stuff. And yeah, hey Botnica, that is the coolest, man. Oh my God, you guys probably can't tell us anything, but we are watching you guys. We're trying to figure it out what you guys are doing. If there's anything that you can tell us, then let us know. But I know you guys are all tight-lipped, and I understand. You know, you guys are professionals. You have to. I need to do this with my podcast, Emergency Traffic. Emergency Traffic. You have a podcast? I'm gonna look that up. Podcast, Emergency Traffic. Yeah, this is kind of like emergency traffic too, but this is completely impromptu because it's about to happen that the Botnica is going to refloat the Thamesborg, but that's impromptu. Oh, it's Paul. Oh, Paul, you're from the Nautical College in Halifax. That is so cool that you guys are watching my videos. I'm honored. I try to make them better every time. If I watch back on my videos, then yeah, I could have said things better and could have explained things better and gone deeper on something. But I'm trying to get these videos into 20 minutes, and it's hard because I can talk on for hours, like I did now for 2 hours. But yeah, it's I try to make them the best I can. Mark, how deep are the double bottoms on the ship? Derek is asking. Well, I've been on a similar cargo ship, the Vancouverborg, which was quite a bit smaller, but the double bottom water tanks, they were about between 1.5 and 2 meters high. That is about the double bottom of the ship. Keep warm and safe up there, Botnica. Yep. Yep. It's not a hospital part of the world for mariners. Yeah. Well, guys, it has been fun. I am out of here. It was super nice. We'll do this again another time. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye.